Good afternoon. I am Captain Bradley with the Recruiting Division in Newport News Police Department.
I am Lieutenant Funaiock. I am also over recruiting. I'm in internal support.
And we want to thank you for joining us today in reference to talking about our recruitment process before you get to the training academy. And we did a video a couple of weeks ago that was aired, and we're here to answer any questions that someone may have. So if you have any questions, please post them and we'll be happy to answer them. So until we can get some, we're going to talk about the process a little bit more. I'm going to let Lieutenant start.
So the first thing that you can do is go online to our website and you do the online application. We will then sign you up for testing. You do a written test, which is actually done on a computer. We also do a physical agility test on the same day. The physical agility test is a wall climb. You do a dummy drag. You do a 6-foot broad jump, you do a 50-round trigger pull, and you do a 300-meter run in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that's all done in one day. Once you pass that step, on to the next day. On Thursday, we do a structured oral process. So you're actually put in a room with a camera and you're given 3 non-law enforcement based scenarios, and you respond to that camera how you would react in that situation. So after you complete that, it is scored, and then we combine your score from the structured oral process with your written test, and hopefully you get a high enough passing score, and then we move you into our background investigation phase.
Right. And the background investigation, you sit down with one of our background investigators and go over your background package, and you go question for question and talk about each component of it, and if you need to change anything, you change it right then and there with your background investigator, and then you both go, is this your final answer? And you both initial it, and we move forward in the background. Background usually takes anywhere from 2.5 to 4 weeks to complete. Most are done in around 3 weeks, depending on how well the package was put together and how easy it is to get some information from the people that you have referenced for us. And so after the background information is complete and the package is on my desk, I will look at some videos that you have already done, and then take it before a panel. And the panel consists of our captains and assistant chiefs, and we look at that and we all discuss your background package and make a determination if we move forward with you in reference. I have to have 3 people to say yes or 3 people to say no. No one person can eliminate somebody out of our process unless it's an automatic disqualifier, which are listed on our webpage as far as what the state requires, and then we've added a few things as well. It's not a lot of automatic disqualifiers, but there are some there. And then after the panel interview, we set you down for a polygraph. Don't see many questions popping up here. I know everybody wants to become police officers. I know most of us, especially us guys, played cops and robbers when we were little. So here's the chance to continue to play it as an adult and get paid for it as well.
So I know that people want to be police officers because Captain Bradley and I meet with the applicants every week, and every week on average we're probably getting about 10 people a week testing with us. So lots of people out there are still wanting to join our department. This is a highly sought after department, and actually we typically are hiring maybe about 17 to 20 officers right now per academy. We're doing 3 academies each year. And we also tend to get about a little over 1,000 applications each year for police officer recruit. So.
And James, well, the polygraph consists of questions from your background. That's why our background form is so thorough. And you will be asked questions from that polygraph. And on our background, it goes from your employment to reasons why you left employment, from past drug usage, which past drug use does not automatically put you out, We do have time frames on that, to different things of automobiles, tickets, suspension of your driver's license. And Lieutenant here has been on the polygraph, so I'll let her explain the hookup.
So we did get some somewhat new polygraph machines a couple years ago, and of course we wanted to validate them before we use them on our applicants. So I was used as the guinea pig. I can tell you that I was hooked up to the wires and the sensors. They monitor your blood pressure as well. So I am here to tell you that the polygraph does work. So we do use that just to make sure that you have told us the truth in your background form, because we have to have officers that tell us the truth and have integrity, because when you go to court, your word is your bond. So that's why we do put you through the polygraph. It is a little nerve-wracking, but as long as you just tell us everything and tell us the truth, you will get through it. So no problem with that.
Absolutely. So after the polygraph, you pass the polygraph, then you move forward to the chief's interview. And our chief's interview is very informal. It's just a chat with the chief so that he can get to know you. It's not another test or what do you know how to be a police officer, because you don't. That's why we're going to put you through the academy. But it's very informal. He wants to see what you're thinking and what your activity level is for wanting to join the police department. So yes, James, integrity is very important. As I tell all the applicants every week when we move forward to hiring, that if they lie, that we cannot take them. We fire police officers every time if somebody lies, because a judge and jury is not going to listen to an officer's testimony when they have been investigated for lying. It's kind of hard to go before a jury and say, hey, this officer did a great job on this arrest. However, he lied in an investigation a few years ago, but I want you to believe him now. It just doesn't work. So that's why integrity is so important. So, all right, Jonathan, after being hired, how long until you can join K9? And thanks for all we do. Thank you for your support. Typically, we look at, you have to be a police officer for 2 years. 18 months to 2 years. We go, it depends on the particular assignment, but K9 is about a 2 years being a police officer before you can get on. And then there's a little bit of an application process for that, and you'll set through a panel and then go from there. So,
all right.
Where are you at?
Nick Kelly, if you are out of state and want to apply, does that disqualify you? Absolutely not. We get out of state applicants all the time. The only thing that we ask is that when you do get hired by us, we do ask that you get a Virginia driver's license. But we actually are very open to out-of-state applicants. Oftentimes we will adjust our testing phases to better accommodate an out-of-state applicant. And also recently we have been doing a prep physical agility test on Saturdays. We do it one Saturday every month. Sometimes that might be better for an out-of-state applicant to make it on a Saturday rather than a Wednesday and Thursday. So we're very open to working with you if you're an out-of-state applicant to get you through our testing process.
We've actually have had 2 people go through our complete testing in 1 day on a weekend. So we can work with you in reference to that. And James, you've only been living in Virginia for 4 hours. I think that's supposed to be 4 years, I hope. And because 4 hours, you're doing good. And no, it doesn't matter if you lived in Virginia for 4 hours or all your life like I have to become a police officer. We get out of state applications all the time and have hired several people from out of state. And even Puerto Rico. We've hired somebody that came from Puerto Rico as well. Mm-hmm. And hello, Stacy. Thanks for everything you're doing up there in Pittsburgh.
Hi, Aunt Stacy.
Yes. Hi, Aunt Stacy.
James said years. He has been here for 4 years. So yeah, come on down, James. We actually test every Wednesday and Thursday. So the Wednesday, like I said, is the written test and the physical agility test. Then the Thursday is the structured oral process. So if you do your online application, we can literally get you into next week's Wednesday testing if you want. But we obviously that's up to your schedule. So every Wednesday, if you're available, we'll be happy to test you.
All right, Tara, what do we look for in a candidate? Somebody that knows how to treat people well. That's part of the testing process. What you do on Thursday, the structural oral process is our gauge for how somebody treats people. What do you do in a situation? It's not police situation, but it's what kind of character do you have? What were you raised like? What did your mom and dad and family teach you in values and what comes from the heart? We're looking for people that know how to talk to individuals and treat somebody nicely and be able to do it even coming out of a stressful situation. We can teach you how to shoot. We can teach you how to drive a car. We can teach you the different laws that you need to know to be a police officer. But the one thing we cannot teach you is how to treat another individual. And that is the main thing we look for in a cadet. All right, Mr. Mendez, rejected and told reply. How would I know if I get rejected again? Sometimes people get rejected for whatever reasons, and we give them a time to an idea of when to come back and apply. We don't guarantee that if you apply 2 or 3 times that you will get on our department, because we have a lot of applications over the periods and times. And like right now, we have a total of 7 openings with 2 people coming back to the department. And we got over 50 applications that we're working for our January. And we had some numbers on how many actually apply and the percentage we actually hire. I know we get over 1,000 applications a year. And I think the percentage is right around, we only hire about 6% of that 1,000. So it's kind of tough. We are one of the few departments, and actually the only one I know of, that is fully staffed. When I say we have 9 openings, these are openings that are called overhires. So we are actually fully staffed right now as we talk with you. But just reapply again, and we'll move forward from there and talk to MPO Gwen, and he'll help you out when that time comes around.
So the next question is, when is the next Saturday agility practice? I believe, and I'm not 100% on this, but I believe it is November 21st. But we will take your name, and if for some reason I'm not correct on that, I'm going to check with our full-time recruiter, which is MPO Win, and I will verify with him. We typically start at around 8 or 9 in the morning, and it goes until about noon. And it's for people that want to become police officers but just aren't certain if they can pass the physical agility test. It's a time for you to come out to Todd Stadium, and we let you practice all the different stations that I told you about before, so that you can see where you're at. And if you were to, let's say, do the 300-meter run and you don't pass it, it does not count against you, but it does give you a benchmark of where you are and what you may need to improve on to pass it in the future.
Hey, James, I see you're still interested there. With the conversation you're having, I hope you two are talking about a 5-year mark on a DUI. That is one of our requirements, that you cannot have a DUI is within 5 years, not a 2-year mark. So that is something that maybe you'll need to reach out to myself or the lieutenant and have some conversation about. But that is one of our automatic disqualifiers, is a DUI within 5 years. And now if someone is getting close to that 5-year mark in the academy, like in your case here in February, and the academy starts in May, we could start the application process, because that 5-year mark will be met by the time that you move on into the May Academy. So, okay, what's the next one you got?
Jonathan up there.
Jonathan, right now we're not doing any ride-alongs due to COVID, and but once we do get that going again, then yes, you can actually ride with a canine officer. Most of the time, you're going to need to know that canine officer and maybe know the dog, but you typically, 99.9% of the time, people do not ride along with canine officers, but we can see what we can do to get that worked out if necessary.
More Pittsburgh family.
Who's that?
Gail Snyder.
Okay.
So we
Thank
did
you.
we did verify that the prep time for the physical agility test that Saturday, it is on November 21st. So yes, it should be probably sometime between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it's your chance if you want to come out and see what it's like to practice at Todd Stadium on Warwick Boulevard. So you can come out on the 21st and see if you can pass all the different stations.
Very good. Hey, Mike, how you doing? To both of Allie's aunts, her mom sends us cookies all the time if y'all want to also.
That's true. That is
So,
true.
I have to actually watch myself when all that stuff comes in. So, James, again, give us a call and talk to the lieutenant or MPO Gwen in reference to all of the standards. And that's what they're there for, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, James is in my opinion. He's a Steelers fan.
I see that already.
Captain knows I have a Steelers country sign in my office. So.
Well, I was raised here in Virginia, so I'm a Washington football team fan.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I gotta watch what I say. Even though I got all the other paraphernalia in my office. Absolutely. So we after the chief does his little spiel and you get selected by the chief, what we will do then is pass the paperwork on to our HR department, and they will be the ones that actually give you a call and offer you a position. And once that position is offered, then you have to take a physical and a psychological exam. And once that is, you get to start the whatever academy is next. And the next one for us is January 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, the week of January 23rd. You'll start the 22nd, because I think the 21st is a holiday. You start on the 22nd. You would actually start the academy on the 24th. That week, you start on Monday, and 2 days later, you start the academy. So, and but we want to talk about the recruiting of what we're pushing for.
So we're actually doing a big push right now for recruiting more women. So the national average, I believe, is about 14% women on a police department, and on our department, we're actually at 18%. But we are looking to hire more women. You know, when we get our applicants in, I mean, recently over this last year, we're doing much better. Our hired demographics for this year is we're currently at 30% of our hires are female at this point. So we are doing much better. But women bring something a little different to the table. You know, I've said I'm never looking to get into a physical confrontation. Women always try to use the verbal judo to calm a situation down. We tend to be a little bit better at communication, listening to what's going on the scene and just trying to diffuse the situation. So we are looking to get more women on the department. We're looking for more female leadership on the department. So please consider all the women out there joining the department. I am actually the SWAT team commander here. So there's nothing that you can't do on a police department as a woman. So.
Dante, as far as training with other localities and federals, in this case you put like an active shooter, most of the time if there's like an active shooter situation, we're not going to have those other entities involved with us at that moment. So we do a lot of training with our units on active shooters. scenarios. And one thing, I'm also in charge of our training division. And one thing that we started this year is that we use each platoon comes and trains at the same time. So the whole shift, evening shift, North Precinct will come and train themselves. There's two platoons. One's still working. One will go to training, and that platoon trains so they get to know each other, their movements, and things like that. Now, Lieutenant here being part of the SWAT team, they do work with the other localities and train with them quite a bit with the SWAT teams in reference to making sure that they're all on the kind of same page. But with us in Newport News, we've been working this type of training, active shooter training, incident training, for many years now, and it's kind of a national standard, but it's all about work. You're right, working with the same people that you work for to go in and do this, so you know what's going on. And that was one thing we changed in our training unit this year, was getting each unit training together all the time. I hope that answered your question a little bit there. So.
Yeah, so from a SWAT team perspective, we've done a joint exercise up at Busch Gardens. You're talking about multiple different local agencies, FBI. We also obviously bring in the fire departments from all the local agencies as well. So we do these very big scale incidents, and then we'll also do some smaller scale trainings. We'll use our mall that's in the city when it's not in operation, and we'll do big scale training events there as well to be prepared for a major incident like that.
Yep. So, all right. What else can we talk about here?
We are pushing as well to get more of Hispanic population on the department. So we're trying really hard that 10% of all of our academies we're hoping are Spanish speaking. And we actually have been achieving that goal. The last two academies that we've hired, we have had 10%. And we are also pushing for an increased population of African American officers on the department. We currently are actually hired about 34% of our applicants for this past year were African American applicants. And so we're actually almost getting to our goal of what our city population is, which is around 42%, I believe, of African American population. So we're almost reaching that goal. And we are, overall seeing more of an African American applicant population as well. So we're really getting near to our goal of our academy looking like our population does in the city of Newport News.
Absolutely. And so far this year for our demographic hiring, we have a 34.8% African American, 3% Hispanic, 3% other, which it could be Asian or other races that we are, and about 59% are white. Female wise, this year we have hired 30% have been female, white, black, Hispanic as well. So we are moving forward in being diverse in our department, and with our efforts of making this a department that reflects our population here in Newport News. So, but we're doing pretty good. Like I said, we're real surprised that we are getting 10 to 15%, 10 or 15 people applying every week in testing. That helps us get the best people here on our department. So if you know anybody interested in the law enforcement career, again, we probably have the best training staff on the East Coast. We also are fully staffed, so that's not burning our officers out. They're able to use their vacation time and time off so that they can spend time with their families. So send everybody on out here. Hey, Don. Yes, it is. Don, he's part of he helps us with our testing. Yeah, SWAT is our TOU, Tactical Operations Unit, instead of Special Weapons and Tactics. Sounds a little nicer. And so we went away from the SWAT term many, many years ago, probably before you even showed up.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Correct.
and so there we go.
James asked again, is there incentive to get a bachelor's degree? So yes, there is actually. We do give incentive pay for having a bachelor's degree. You do get another $1,000 a year for having a bachelor's degree. And then Roberta asked, are there tattoo regulations? We do have regulations. If it's on your wrist, if it's basically above the wrist bone, then it is fine. Now we do have to submit it through the chain of command to make sure that it would be approved if you're wearing a short sleeve uniform. But other than that, if you have tattoos on your hands, your neck, or your face, that is a disqualifier. However, you do have the option of going forward with the removal process if you'd like to do that, and then we would still consider you to be hired.
Nick, we usually say the age you start the application is 20 and a half, but really the rule of thumb is that you have to be 21 when you graduate from the academy. So the application, you just got to know when the academy is. The academy takes about 5.5 months now, 5 to 5.5 months. So you got to, when you turn 21, back that 5.5 months out from when you start the academy, and then anywhere from about 4 to 6 weeks for the application process. So that's where we would go from there. But apply and let's see where you're at with that. So let us just talk with MPO Gwen or Lieutenant Funaiock, and y'all guys can call us at any time at 928 4150. 928 4150. I usually don't have to call that number. I got everybody's number in my phone, so I can do that. So, but give us a call. Again, it's 928 4150, and go online if you have any other questions on our web page. We have a lot of information on the hiring process and how to apply and the events that follow. Yeah, what else we got?
Seth Austin there.
Well, Dave, we have hired people as older as 61, I remember, since I've been here. I've been here almost 35 years. The issue is that the city has a mandatory retirement age for the police department, and that is 67. So I would have to say it takes a year to formally become a police officer, the academy and your FTO process before you are a formally a police officer. So that's about 9 months. So you would have to be in the academy probably at 66, right about on your 66th birthday for that 1 year of anything. And then to be vested in our city, you have to be here for 5 years. So we take all applications. We actually have somebody in our process right now that's age 62, coming up on 63 in our process.
So Seth asked, do you offer a relocation bonus if hired onto the department? So no, we do not offer that. But if you are a current police officer in the state of Virginia, we do look at your past experience, and that could affect where you start off at when you get hired by us. But a relocation bonus for a new hire, no, unfortunately, we do not.
Okay. Dante, again, call that 928-4150 number to get in touch with me as well, and we can go further on that. And I'm not sure if that's about the K-9 or
I think that was the training.
The training? Okay. All right. Aspect of it. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. With that, I think we've pretty much covered everything on our cheat sheets that we have in front of us. The longest part of our process is the background process of it, and the the more thorough the background package is and the more thorough your references are, the quicker we can get through the process. The quickest we've hired somebody so far has been 4 weeks, which is very quick from test date to actual hire date, and that included going to the physical and the psychological. So, but everything was, all the ducks were in a row on that one. But usually it's between 4 and 6 weeks. So
any weight requirements that we have? No, the only requirements we have is that you pass our physical agility test. So I'll go back through it. We do a 5-foot wall scale. We do a 130-pound dummy weight drag. We do a 50-round trigger pull. We do a 6-foot broad jump. And we also do a 300-meter run in 90 seconds. So that is what you have to pass in order to move on in our process. And then I'll go back to, if you don't know if you can make those requirements, you're more than welcome to come out on November 21st and try out our physical agility test and see if you're able to get through all those stations.
And it won't count against you on that practice on a Saturday, as far as that goes. With the physical agility test, when you come out to actually test, you get 3 shots at each event. Of course, if you don't pass the run, it's kind of hard to do the run again that particular day, but we give you time to come back, in a couple weeks after you can practice and build up your cardio a little bit. And we give you 3 shots at it. But when you come out and try on Saturdays and practice on the Saturdays, we do not count that against you. However, if you pass it on that Saturday, we count it. So it's kind of a tit for tat on that one. And Roberta, does it affect your? No, what we have found, it does not affect your application. There's no extra points because you were in the military or anything like that. Like when I was hired on a long time ago, there were points added to your process and all, but that doesn't affect that anymore. However, we do find that a lot of our military that apply do very well in the process because they've had that structure in their life for 2 to 4 to 5 years, or those that have retired and come with us. So a lot of times it does help that you have been in the military. Okay.
All right, Jacob, yes, if you call 928-4150, you can speak to someone or you can set up a meeting. We do have a full-time recruiter, MPO Win, and he is more than happy to sit down with you. However, if you were to just show up to headquarters and say, I'm interested in the department and I'd like to speak to a recruiter, they will call back to our office, and any one of us back in recruiting, myself, the captain, one of our investigators, any of us will be more than happy to sit down with you and talk further about this police department.
And most of our background investigators are retired law enforcement people from this department, so they know what's going on. And the other 2 that are here, they've been with us long enough to know what's going on in this department and all. Jonathan, there is not a physical standard test every year. You just have to pass the physical agility test, and then we give you a form saying what the minimum is to when you start on the first day at the academy. And if you don't heed to those warnings, the physical agility test is nothing compared to what they expect you to be the first day in the academy. You do go through a physical training program while you're in the academy, but there is no physical standard testing that we have to keep up like the military does, because under FSLA rules, we cannot do that. But you do have to have a physical every year. That's free of charge, which is a good benefit as well. So that's where we are with that. So, James, thank you, James, for everything you do. I've seen you on Chief's comments before, and appreciate your support of this police department. Thank you very much. So, okay, we'll get a couple more seconds and see if there's any more questions that come up, but we would encourage you to go to the Newport News Police Department website and look at our recruitment videos. look at the different standards that we are looking for in police officers, look at the application process and what all goes with that. And of course, we have there's the phone numbers there that anybody can answer questions for you and help you out through this process. You want to join us, we want you to join. We are going to work with you and do our best to get you on our process. We're going to treat you like a brother and sister from the day you apply all the way through. And unfortunately, not everybody can make it, and we'll try to talk to you about some of the reasons why if somebody doesn't make it. Sometimes we cannot talk about that. There are rules in reference to that as well. So, Ms. Dance, thank you for joining us. I know you're a big supporter of the department, and appreciate all of that you're doing for us as well. So, with that, we want to say thank you for joining us today, and please do not hesitate to give us a call or join us again on these Facebook messaging. So. I'm
Public
sorry.
safety, Ms. Dance.
Oh, she applied for the dispatch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll look. I remember when you were talking about applying for that position. So we got a bunch of those going on right now. So I don't know where you are with that process at this point in time. But we'll if you'll get in touch with Lieutenant Funaiock at that 928-4150 number, and she can tell you where we are, because it's kind of two parts. Communication does part of the testing aspect of it, and we'll give the background form, and then we take over from there. So it's kind of a two joint effort process with these guys. So, all right. Anything else?
No?
All right.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.